الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله وصلى الله وسلم على النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه أولي الصدق والصفا أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كل نفس ذائقة الموت وإنما توفون أجورهم يوم القيامة فمن زهزها إلى النار عن النار وأدخل الجنة فقد فاز وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور صدق الله مولانا العظيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وأنعم وأكرم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين صلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا رحمة للعالمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending salutations, peace and blessings upon the best of creation, the jewel and crown of creation, the beloved of Allah Almighty, the coolness to our eyes, the purpose of our lives, the reviver of our hearts, the inspirer to our minds, the awakener of our souls, the most honored one, the most praised one, the most revered one, the most generous one, the most kind one. Undoubtedly, he is the most beautiful one. None other than Sayyiduna Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa barak wa sallam. Allah Jalla Jalaluhu said in the Quran, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every single soul shall taste death. Everything that Allah has created must come to an end. And then Allah Jalla Jalaluhu continued in that verse, and He said, وَإِنَّمَا تُوَفَّوْنَ أُجُورَكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. You will be paid back what you deserve on the day of judgment. فَمَنْ زُهْزِهَ عَنِ النَّارِ. And he who has saved himself from the fire, وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةِ, and has been admitted into paradise, فَقَدْ فَازَ. Certainly he is successful. He has succeeded. And then Allah Almighty finished this verse by saying, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. What is this life? What is this life except a playground of deception? Mata'ul ghurur. This life is a deception. When ma and illa kum, in the Arabic language, those of you who have studied will know that it gives the fa'idah of hasar, that this life only is a deception. Allah did not create me and you to be gangsters. Allah did not create me and you to waste our lives. Allah did not create me and you so that we can terrorize people. Allah did not create me and you to harm people. Allah did not create me and you to upset your parents. Allah did not create me and you to behave in an antisocial manner. Allah did not give you life for you to go and blow it. Allah did not give you a life for you to go and hit a tree. Allah did not give you a life for you to go and blow someone's house up. Allah did not give you a life that on Friday nights you go out and you drink yourself so much that you don't know what time you arrive at home in the early hours of the morning. Allah did not give you a life to torture your mothers, to disrespect them and dishonor them. And you may say, I don't disrespect my mother. But the moment you walk outside that house, after the hours that she has said, you have disrespected her. The moment you raise your voice at your mother, you have disrespected her. The moment you have said off to your mother, you have disrespected her. The moment you turn your back to your father, you've disrespected him. Allah did not give you life. He did not give you the beauty of this life. He did not give you such a gift for you to go and destroy it, for you to go and take your own life. You have no right to do that. That's why suicide is haram in Islam. You have no right to go out and take your own life, to put other people's lives in danger. Why? Because you have no control over anyone else. Ultimately, you only have control over yourself to a certain limit. Beyond that, it is what Allah wills. But when you get behind that wheel and you're driving that R8 or a RS6 or a RS3, or you're driving a car that's stolen, or you're driving a car that's fast, 650 brake horse, 750 brake horse, the car sounds good, looks good, SVR, you name the cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris. The moment you get behind that wheel and you're a good boy, you ain't even a wannabe, you ain't even a bad boy, but the moment the music comes on, Tupac, Biggie, whatever gangster songs you listen to, and you're driving that car and you get that urge that I want to put my foot down because this road is empty right now. There is nothing in my way to hinder me from me fulfilling my adrenaline rush. And when you hit that speed, 140 down the road, whether it's Canal Road, Leeds Road, Great Houghton Road, Duckworth Lane, wherever these roads are, Ladypool Road, the Wimslow Road, all these roads that you have where people go and take their big cars and they think they're big and they think they're bad. That's what a car does. You have to rely on a car to make yourself feel good. You have to rely on your clothes to make yourself feel good. Is this the state that you've got to? You think wearing good clothes makes you a good person. You think driving a good car makes you a good person. You've got it wrong. Completely wrong. That's not what makes you good. What makes you good is when you see an old woman walking and you help her out. What makes you good is when you save people's lives. When you do jobs like Aurangzeb does, where he washes dead bodies. That's what makes you good. What Dan Greenwood does, saving people's life as a policeman. That's what makes people good. That's what makes good when you do jobs like Richard Dunbar, councillors who work hard to make Bradford a safer place. That's you contributing to Bradford. You're not contributing to Bradford. You're not contributing to Islam. If you think you're a bad boy because you've lined your beard, you think you're a bad boy because you're driving 160 miles per hour, you're a fool. You're a wannabe. You ain't no bad man. You ain't sat with no bad man. What did Aurangzeb say? I've seen thugs and gangsters on those streets. When they've stood in that ghusl khana, they've trembled. They don't even know how to wash their fathers' bodies. You should be ashamed. Ashamed of yourself. You should lower your head down if you cannot wash your father's body. If you are 50 years old and you don't know how to give your father ghusl. You are 28 years old and you don't know how to give your father ghusl. Wallahi, I am so happy that my father and my mother made me study. You know why? My whole studies led me to the day that I washed my dad's body. I lowered my dad's body. I did the kafan on my dad's body. I put him inside his grave. I prayed for my father. I'm a proud son of my father. Do you know why? Because that's what he lived for. He lived his entire life to see that day that his sons will then give him the farewell and that send-off that he deserves. What are you doing? You go out at 6 in the morning. You go out at 11 at night. You go and you get stoned. How many Buddha heads do we know? How many lads do we know abuse drugs? Weed, cocaine, heroin. How easily accessible they are on the street. They're out there, zooted up, stoned, don't know what's going on. As soon as they see the blue lights flash, and boom, paranoia kicks in. I've got to save myself. I've got to go and do something. So he takes the chase. He takes the chase. He goes, boom. They've drunk all night. They go and they drink. They buy booze and drink it over the limit. Non-Muslims may drink alcohol. In Islam, alcohol is prohibited. Our Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said that alcohol is the mother of all evils. Then a person, there's a story that you may have heard. 3 people. One man was given an option. He had 3 options. He could have raped a woman, he could have killed a child, or he could have drunk. You know what he took? He said, I'm going to drink. How dare I kill a man and a woman? How dare I kill a child? I don't want to live on that. You know what this guy did? He went and he drank. He drank. He drank. As a punishment to get out, he drank. He got out. He drank so much, he ended up killing the mother. He drank so much, he ended up killing the girl. What happened? Where did it all start from? That bit of booze that our people drink. You know those, the Jack Daniels, the Coke mixtures, the Red Bull mixtures, sat in the car. You think we're stupid? You think we're fools? You think we don't know what goes on out there? We've lived in the streets. We know what goes on out there. Just because we don't do it, doesn't mean we don't know it. Just because we don't do it, doesn't mean we don't know what's going on out there. Mr. Greenwood is sat here, Detective Superintendent, high in the police force. He will tell you, he doesn't do it, but you can tell from a mile off. When that lad walks in with a man bag on, thinking he's 10 men, this man bag business. I know women had bags. Since when did men start wearing bags? Since when? You know why? You've got to carry that tenors. You've got to carry that eighth. You've got to carry those drugs. You're peddling left and right. You're a dog on the street. You're running around like this, back and forward, for someone else, so that you can feed. And when you feed, what do you feed? Haram. What do you give your children? Haram. When you feed them haram, what do you expect? If the input is haram, what's the output going to be? I ask you. If in is haram, out is haram. If all your life, our parents have been illegally claiming benefits, when we didn't need benefits, when we've illegally claimed, you think it's halal to do this? It's haram. It's haram. When you've done that, 20 years down the line, your son's locked up and he thinks it's cool to go into Armley prison. He thinks he's a bad boy. I know so many young lads in the prisons and they think they're 10 men. They think I'm cool. My life is fulfilled. I feel like I've achieved. Why? Because I ended up in Armley. I ended up in the one in Manchester. I ended up in all these prisons. You look at them and you think, is this your life? You think you're a gangster? You think you're a bad boy? You ain't no gangster or bad boy. You ain't no thug. Just because you spend some time in a 4x4, you ain't no bad boy. That's a dog's life. What life do you have? My brother started praying. MashaAllah. Very good. For how long? Till you're out? You turn to God when there's nothing left. You turn to Allah when you have nothing. When you needed Allah. When it was time to ask Allah. Ma'am Sahib, do dua. I've got a court case. Something goes wrong. Make dua, it goes right. You do dua. You turn to Allah. You do niyaz. Your mother's crying. She says, "Main itna niyaz sukhiya hai ki mara putar bari ho jaye." How are you going to get bari? You think all of a sudden a miracle is going to occur and your son's going to go free? What were you doing as a mother allowing your son out at 3 in the morning? What were you doing as a father allowing your son out at 3 in the morning? What is there to do at 3 in the morning? Are you a taxi driver? Have you just finished from the restaurant? No. You're an 18, 19-year-old who didn't do well in school, who didn't get the grades, who ain't employed. And you know what? You've ended up spending the entire night out. You spent your entire night out for what? For whom? To please whom? And in the end, where have you ended up, my brother? Where have you ended up? You've ended up in there. You know why we bought this coffin in? So you can start visualizing your whole life, 50, 60, 40, 20, 30, 35, 34, all this year that we live. We all have to prepare for what? That box there. That's your crib. That's your Ferrari. That is it. You will end up in there, I guarantee and promise you that. Look at that coffin there. There's no one in there. But that's going to become someone's the moment Kabir gets a call. There's a funeral. Boom. There you go. He's inside there. She's inside there. So what life did you live? I ask you, what life did you live? You used to drink, smoke, gamble, gambling issues. And what has that led you to? Led you to becoming the man that you are now. Leading you to become what? 6 feet under. Where everyone shall end up in the end. And then we see We see this image. Everyone wants to have an image. Because we see it on Snapchat, we see it on Facebook, we see it on social media. We look at how he's doing it and you think, I've got to be the same. I've got to have that car. You don't even afford the car. You, 60 years ago, was what? You were pushing donkeys about. You were working in the farms. And now all of a sudden, you've come to the big Western world and it's hit you hard. You know where we have lost it? Shall I tell you? I can easily sit here and blame parents. I can easily sit here and blame mosques, which I will talk about. You know where we've lost it? We live a life without Allah present inside it. We have no consciousness of God. We live this sort of life. There's no fear left in our hearts. We ain't scared no more. We're lawless and fearless. And I'm talking about those young lads. We are lawless and fearless. Because you think, I've took a red, I've took a 30, no problem. I've done it once, I've done it twice. Human nature, I'll get away with it again. But it's only a matter of time. Only a matter of time before you are caught. Either you're caught, like Dan said, by them, or you're caught in there. We have to lower you in. You must die one day. Why don't you remain conventional? Why do you have to be unconventional? Why do you have to risk your own life? Does your life mean nothing to you? Does your life mean nothing to you? Did your father and mother bring you into this world? Did Allah give you a life for nothing? Allah Almighty has never created anything without a purpose. Everything has a purpose. You have a purpose on this earth. When our father, Sayyidina Adam, the Prophet Adam, he ate from the forbidden tree, he was sent onto this earth. What did Allah say in the Quran? Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. I am sending my deputy on this earth. I am sending my ambassador on this earth. I am sending a man of responsibility onto this earth. Humans are responsible. Humans are people of integrity. Humans are who? People who understand responsibility. What do we find? An age of irresponsibility. What is that age of irresponsibility? The youth age. Youngsters, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You know what's sad? Even 30, 40-year-olds get the buzz. They think they're Jeremy Clarksons as well. They think they're Paul Walkers. You see Paul Walker, where he ended up? He lived his entire life filming for Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious. In the end, the way he lived, the way he died. You know what it was? He was on a set. It is a movie. Get this into your heads. It's a movie. They have health and safety in place. They have stuntmen. They break legs and bones, even if it's orchestrated and choreographed. You ain't no stuntman. You're doing what they do in the movies on these roads. And there's no stunt there. If it doesn't go right, boom, finished. 4 have gone. 1 has gone. 2 have gone. 3 have gone. 2 are critical right now. Last night, Haworth Road, you all see the video circulating. This is another stupid thing about our people. Somebody is dying across the road, and people have got the audacity to get their cameras out and make videos. Shameless act. Besharmi and bagherti. That you are standing videoing. If you had an ounce of faith in your heart and iman, an ounce of care, you wouldn't be standing in your rooms videoing. You'd be out there trying to save their lives and helping the police and not saying, your problem, you deal with it. No, you create the problem. Sadly, they have to deal with it. I have to deal with it. Richard has to deal with it. Lord Mayor has to deal with it. Prominent men in the community have to deal with it. We suffer. You know who suffers the most? Your mother and father has to deal with it. They have to go to Cemetery Road, Schoolmore, cemetery, and they have to pray. And you know, when you want to, I want to sit with those parents and ask, how do you feel? What is going on? And I'll tell you, they'll say, my life, our life has ended. My son's gone. He was only 18, 19, 20. He was 22. He had his whole life ahead of him. You know, when you don't pick up responsibilities, when you don't do what is right, then this is what the conclusion and outcome is. We have to do events like this to tell young people, boys, drugs ain't good for you. Drinking ain't good for you. You are no Pablo Escobar. You are not Ghost in power. You are none of this. Get it out of your head. You watch these things, but you ain't that. Be your own man. Develop yourselves to become good men. Develop yourselves. You know, we Asian Mirpuri community, we lack development. We think, kapre line, khana dite, putar mara theek hai, school jana hai. How do you know he's going to school? How do you know your son is in school or he's skiving? How do you know your son is at university or skiving? How do you know your son's doing good or is he doing bad? How do you know? Do you have CCTV cameras on him? But I tell you, those parents who know their children, they know what their son is like. They know what their daughters are like. You know what's sad? When that son comes in and he slips 4,000 on the table and says, hey mom, this is for you. Ma sochni hai, aise takin, koi gal nahi. Money, no problem. Money, no problem. They don't ask, where did you get the money from? They don't ask that question. Son, where did you get this money from? What did you do with this? No. What do they say? He's putting food on the table. What food? Haram? When you put haram in, what comes out? Haram. When you put drug money on the table for your parents, what comes out? No, bro, that's in a separate unit. We've got that stashed away. We don't give it to our mothers and fathers. Oh, no, you don't. Really, don't you give it? Are you sure? Your father knows that you're a drug dealer. What does he say? He's a businessman. Business? Which business? He's peddling, dealing. He ain't no businessman. He's a murderer. He's killing people. My brothers and sisters are here as well. You know where sisters play the key role? They are the mothers. They are the mothers. They are everything. Our fathers go out and work. Our mothers are at home looking after. What are you doing? What are our mothers doing? I'm 28, I'm an imam. You've all come to listen to my talk. Why am I here today? Why? Who is it? Who do I talk about the most? Who? My mum, my mother. It is all my mother's doing this, everything. You see, if mothers are strong, parents now are more scared of their children than children are of their parents. Sad reality, sad reality. The son dictates, the father has to listen. 20 years ago, 10 years ago, father said, son did. There was no left or right. Now it's changing. So we need to adapt. We need to be in a position where you do not lose respect of your child. Your son fears you still. Your son respects you still. What does he think? My dad. Who's my dad? What's my dad? My dad? They have no father, they have no mother, they have no relatives. They're just selfish. Me. That's the psyche and mentality of these people. It's all about me. What am I doing? Where am I going? What level am I on? It's not about you, my brother. You came in this world, you have a responsibility. You have parents, you have children. Accept your responsibility. Grow up. Be mature. Stop living a childish life. Stop living your life on the road. Stop risking lives. You are not bad, you are not cool. You are not a gangster. I'm telling you, that is not what gangsters do. This is not the way of gangsters. You've got it all wrong. You're not cool that you've got 10,000 people following you on social media. I've got loads of friends. Where? On social media. Have you met them? Never. He's got so many friends on Facebook. He's probably got 3 in real life. In the social life, in the social world, I've got friends. You consider him your friend, the one you've never met. You've never met him, you've never seen him, and what do you say? He's my friend. This is the mentality now. This is our mentality. He's my friend. Why? I talk to him on social media. My friend, they're not your friends. Friend is he who tells you the truth. And who's your best friend? Your mother and father. The true, real mothers and fathers who take responsibility, who sit their children down and tell them, this is how it is. This is what you should do. Not those parents who neglect their children, who don't care about their children. They go out at 3 in the morning. They sleep peacefully. Why? They gave me money. Don't ask where it's come from. I got the money. Your son turns up with a 30, 40,000 pound car. How dare you not ask him? In this world, the father and mother have the right to ask, where did he get that car from? Whose car is that? Go give that car back. Your father worked all his life and he didn't have this car, and today you're driving a 30, 40 grand car. Look at the state of your father and look at you. No, but that's my father, innit? Yeah, that's right. If that's your father and that's how he's been, go spend it on your father first. Buy him a 40 grand car and say, Dad, this is for you. You're my father. I love you, I respect you, I honor you. I do it for you so that you smile. Instead, what do? Say, no chance. I ain't going to get my dad it. Me, I've made it. Who are you? Who are you? هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. Surah Al-Insan, Allah said, was there not a time on man, on the human race, where he wasn't even a thing to be mentioned? Humans didn't exist. You was nobody once upon a time. And all of a sudden you think you are the Fir'aun. You are the Nimrud. You think you're the gangster. What are those gangsters? Who's Fir'aun? In the end he drowned in the sea. Who's Nimrud? A mosquito ate him alive. This is who those gangsters were. They had money, they had women, they had children, they had wealth, they had cars, they had everything. And you think you're bad because you wear a fake Rolex, fake Gucci and Armani bag. Get a life. Get a life. That is no life. You are not cool. You are not bad. Go earn halal money. My brother, I will guarantee you buy the Lambo, you buy the Ferrari, you buy the Gucci, you buy the Armani. Do it right. Islam doesn't say you can't wear Gucci and Armani. It says wear Gucci and Armani. It doesn't stop you from that. To the point Nabi alayhi salatu salam said, if you're wealthy and you don't spend, you are doing wrong. Your duty is to spend on your family, first and foremost. Do that. But if you're earning it through haram, my brother, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. In the end, you're going to end up there. That's it. That's life. This is part life. That's the real life. We're Muslims. We have to prepare for that day. The day we meet Allah. There, look at that coffin. Every single one of you. Look at it. Whilst I'm talking, look. That is it. By Allah, that is life. I live 60 years here. Until the day of judgment, I will be living in that box. Put your whole life into perspective. Is it really worth it? Getting in that car and driving fast. Is it really worth it? Getting stoned every night and then taking it out on your poor wife at home and children. Is it really worth it? Drinking away and killing your liver and kidneys. Is it really worth it that you go and gamble everything your mother and father saved just to feed your dirty habits? Is it worth it? No. It's not worth it. Because we're Muslims, we believe in La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. We will die one day. Every soul shall die. Prepare for that day when you will meet your Lord. Ya ayyuhal insanu, ma gharraka bi rabbika al-kareem. Oh man, what has deceived you from your generous Lord? What is it that's deceived you? This life is what's deceived me and you. All this around us. We think this is life. Watches, cars, houses, We're material. You don't own nothing. Let me tell you another powerful story of one man. He was walking with someone. They were walking on Park Lane in London. Have you been to Park Lane? Those of you who haven't been to Park Lane, don't go. Because we're not millionaires. But if you want to see, then go check it. Millionaires, big houses. Walking there one day, and he said to that person, I own this house. You see this mansion, it's mine. He said, it's not yours, you don't own it. He says, I'm telling you, I own this millionaire part. It's mine, I own it. He said, you've got it wrong, man. He says, no, I own it, I bought it. I'll show you the deal, the contract, the solicitors. It is in my name. He went to land registry, took it off. He said, here, look, I own it. Okay, he says, you own it? He said, before you bought it, who owned it? So-and-so person. And before them, who owned it? So-and-so person. And before them, who? So-and-so. He said, for one moment, think. Do you not think at this very same spot that you're standing and telling me I owned it, they were saying the same thing back then as well? They said, I own it. This is mine. And then they died. And then it was bought. And then it continued. And that is life. What are me and you? Custodians. We do not own anything. Nothing. Please bring me an example. I'm asking you right now. Bring me an example who took his wealth with him in his grave, in that box. Bring me the man who took gold with him. Bring me the man who took his Rolexes with him. Please, I'm asking you. Bring me a Muslim who did that inside that box. In the end, he goes with 3 pieces of cloth. 3 pieces of cloth. That 30,000 pound wardrobe, his children will fight over. His family will fight over. They'll give it to the charity and say, this is yours. So what's life in the end then? What is it? Is this life? Is this life or is that life? What's worth preparing for? The grave, where you're going to stay longer than in this world. But you know why this world is more important than that world? What you do here is what you will receive in the hereafter. If you mess it up here, it's messed up for you there. If you do it right here, if you take responsibility here, if you live by the Quran and Sunnah here, you abide by the law of the land. Did Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam not advise the Sahaba that if you go into non-Muslim territory, abide by the law of that land, live by the law of that land? Did not Sayyidina Ja'far and Uthman, Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'een, go to Ethiopia, Abyssinia, and the ruler at that time was a Christian? Did they not abide by the law of that land? Tell me where the Sahaba didn't abide. Did not Muslims abide by the law of the land in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Thailand, in these countries? Muslims abided by the laws of those lands. When the non-Muslims they seen the fragrance of the true beauty of Islam, they started to accept this deen. They began to accept Islam. They came towards Islam. Why? Because that is how Islam should really be. We are ambassadors. You are sent here for a purpose and a mission. Do not waste your life on drugs and alcohol. Do not waste your life torturing your parents and then becoming a tragedy that they cry over for the rest of their life. 1920, maybe it was destined. This was Qismat, Muqaddar. It was written they were going to go. But did we not choose to drive fast? When I put the foot down, I make that choice. That's me. I can't blame him or her or him or her. No. It is a choice that I make. And if it's a choice I make and I get caught, then I must pay the price. There's a consequence. Do not think that I'll do one thing and the other is not going to happen. No. It's wrong. You can't get away. And if you do get away, and you get away from Dan and the police force, well done. Great work. But I tell you what, Allah is watching and you cannot run away from God. You will be held accountable One day. On that day, every evidence will be presented against you. اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. Surah Yasin. Allah says on that day, نختم على أفواههم, we will seal their mouths. We will seal their mouths. وتشهد أرجلهم, and your أرجلكم, your legs will talk against you. Your body parts will speak against you. بما كانوا يكسبون. What did you used to do? How did you live your life? Are you really scared of Allah? Let me ask this question. Are you really scared of Allah Jalla Jalaluh? Do you have the fear of Allah in your heart? Every person will say, yes, I fear Allah. I fear Allah. I fear. What fear? You sin against Allah, but you fear Him. You sin, but you fear. How can you sin and fear? If you fear, you don't sin. If you sin, you don't fear. You can't have both. This is why, my brothers and sisters, wake up and realize life is not a joke. Life is precious. And other lives are also precious. His life is as precious as mine. That's why, when you save one person, it's as if you have saved entire humanity. If you have saved one person, but if you've killed one person, it's as if you have killed entire humanity. It's as if you have killed entire humanity. And if that is the case, then what is to be of that murderer who took the life of someone? If I'm driving a car recklessly and there are two other people in that car, who is responsible for their death? Question. Who is responsible? Me. I chose to drive recklessly, knowing my brothers were sat in that car. I crashed. I survived. They died. Is it not manslaughter? Is it not murder or in the second degree? Of course. I will be questioned if I live. And if I don't, then the Almighty will ask, what did you do? Why did you do this? What did you do? How did you die? You died like, why? How did they die? When they will be asked, they'll say, he drove recklessly. He is responsible for our death as well. How sad that we have to be in a position like this. It is not worth it. If you want that thrill, go hire a racetrack. Go get a good car. Put a helmet on. Pad yourself up. Even then, there's no guarantee. Even then, there's no guarantee. These cars, we say, they're death traps. They're not. They're nice cars. The moment you have a death trap mentality, that now car becomes a death trap. Those young brothers, they passed away in a what? BMW 1 Series. They did not pass away in a Bentley or a Rolls Royce. They did not pass away in a Range Rover. A BMW 1 Series is a normal car. Normal car. The moment that car impacted, if that metal didn't survive, do you really think man's flesh would? Bones would? Allahu Akbar. Can you imagine? Just for one moment. What was going through their minds? What was going through the minds of young people who have lost their life like this? Put yourself in their boots. Imagine. What's the statistic? 23 deaths already in Bradford, in our district this year. 74% more than last year already, and we've got 4 months left. 4 months left. Reckless driving last night led to a young woman intensive care. Led him to intensive care. Why? Was it worth it? You've dodged one car, other car you've gone through. You ain't no bad boy driver. You are not Michael Schumacher. You know who Michael Schumacher is? We all know who Michael is. Formula 1, 6-time world champion. What happened to Michael Schumacher on that ski slope? What happened to him? Lost his brain, everything. Why? When you put yourself in scenarios, dangerous circumstances, it's not worth it. It ain't worth it. Believe me, your children are worth more your time than your absence. Your parents need you more than your absence. They need your presence, not your absence. Don't allow you yourself, your absence, to become a scenario where for the rest of your lives, their lives, your mother and father are crying. Crying. What are parents doing right now? What are they doing? Neglecting their children. They don't communicate with them. What communication does your father have with you and mother have with you? In one room, father texts the son, and you're sat together. If it's a joke, good joke. But it's happening. Father texts mother or texts children in one room. No relationship. No communication. When you want them to be alright, give them the iPad, give them mobile phones, give them freedom. But they don't monitor it. Lack of responsibility as a father. Lack of responsibility as a mother. How can you allow your 6, 7-year-old son take an iPad and let them watch whatever they want, uncensored? And you don't know what's going on. You don't know what your son's doing online. You don't know what's going on in the streets. You are not oblivious. You are not carrying your responsibility as it should be carried. You are not carrying that. Masjids. How many young people go to the masjid other than the Friday prayer? Where? Where's that Fajr and Asr and Maghrib and Isha? Where are the youth? What are they doing? They're out causing terror. They're out there causing problems to the families, to people. For what? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? And why? Shall I tell you why? I will openly say, masjids have been established in Bradford for over 50 years. When they were established, they fulfilled their purpose and objective. Right now, I am sorry to say, masjids are failing. Masjids are failing. Young people are not coming to the house of God for guidance. You know who they go to? The wannabes. They turn to the street. The street is going to help me. The street ain't going to help you. Those streets will stay, you will go. You're bad today, tomorrow there's another bad man that's going to turn up. And after you there's another one. And that's it. We take each other's place, before you know it, the world will end. And this is how it continues. My brothers and sisters, you should go to your masjids and you should say to them, what are you doing for me? You have a right to ask the masjids, what are you doing for me? Are you educating me? Are you welcoming me? If your masjid does not allow that opportunity to be asked that question, then by Allah on the day of judgment, they will be held accountable and responsible. They have played a part in the lack of development in our youth. And then we have schools, the public sector, they work hard. I am ashamed and I'm very sorry that I feel embarrassed when I hear young lads saying, you know those pigs, the police, the 5-0, Mame, Chache, whatever you call them, they caused my brother to die. No, got it wrong. They do not train to kill. They are trained to save. Their job is to make your life safe. They are paid our hard-earned money tax that they get paid to save our life. We have a right to question them as they have a right to save our life. They are in a position of responsibility. I don't want to hear a young man saying, that police officer killed. No, he didn't. If he's pulled you over, pull over. What are you going to get? 3 points? Ban license? Your life was saved, wasn't it? You're still walking, aren't you? You still got your freedom, haven't you? And if it's really bad, I'm sorry, you don't deserve your freedom. Why should you be free on the streets if you're a danger to society? You should be locked up. That's why prisons were made. Why are the police there? To make it safe. We should thank Allah, first and foremost, that we live in a country where we are afforded such safety. We are afforded such safety. If you go back to our homeland, you've seen police brutality in Mirpur. You've seen police brutality in Peshawar. You see, America, first world country, world power, and I'll say this openly, black lives matter, don't they? How easily are black lives getting killed by police officers there? Do our police officers target us and kill us? Do they put guns to our heads? No. I can go over to Dan and speak to him. I guarantee he will sit there for the next hour even, and he will talk to you. No issues. Do you know why? Because they are not trained to react against you. They are in a position of power where what they say can change people's lives. What they do changes and saves people's lives. You have to understand the circumstance and situation and scenario that you're living in. It is the easy, ignorant way out. The police, the pigs, they did that to me. No, they didn't. I'm sorry. You've got it wrong. You should read 2 rakats nafal to Allah and thank Him that you live in England. You live in the Great Britain. You live here. You should thank Allah. If you was in Pakistan now, how would it be? You wouldn't have the koti that you have now, would you? Now you've got those kotiyan. Where did you make that money? Where? Here. You didn't make it there. You made it here. So you should respect the law of this land. You should obey the law of this land. Look, just be human. Be simple. Be real. Don't waste your life. Cars, drugs, alcohol, thug life, mentality, social media, none of this is worth it. It's not worth losing your life over and ending up in there because of that. No. My father, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, in the end, he passed away of kidney failure and heart failure. He passed away after a year and a half of struggle. He passed away, it was inevitable. I accept this, alhamdulillah. He didn't pass away because of drug abuse. He didn't pass away because of alcohol abuse. He didn't pass away because of these issues. No. He did not pass in this manner. Why do you want to leave this world in a car? You think you're cool? You're not cool. I'm sorry, brother. You're not cool. You're a fool. There's no coolness in it. It's foolishness. You're an absolute fool. There's so many brothers sat here who once upon a time, they were at that stage of their life. Today Allah guided them. Allah has guided them. They've calmed down, took responsibility, matured. You know, I was sat with some of the lads at the barbers, and I said, boys, you guys did this as well. What's the difference? You're now 32, 33. 10 years ago, you were hiding cars and doing stuff. What's the difference? He said, we feared our parents. We have haya inside us. We are ashamed. If I do wrong, and when I've done wrong, I feel ashamed, we have this inside us. Today's kids, they have no shame left. I'm sorry to say. There's no shame left. And what did the Prophet ﷺ say? Al-haya shu'batum min shu'ab al-iman. Wala imana liman la haya'a lahu. Modesty, having shame with your actions and whatever you do, having modesty inside you, what is this? Shu'batum min shu'ab al-iman. The Prophet ﷺ said, it's a branch from the branches of iman. He who has no haya has no iman. Where's that haya gone? You know, in our language, what's haya? Sharm, ghairat. When you have no ghairat and sharm left, then you have no iman, you're bayman. You are bayman. But the moment you have sharm and ghairat inside you, then you have iman inside you. My brothers and sisters, Allah is watching. He sees everything we do. Wake up, don't waste your life. Turn back to Allah before it's too late. I will not say what others have said, that you're going to the hellfire. I say, He has given you another day, another chance. Turn back to Him, it's not too late. Believe you me, I feel very cool being who I am with my beard. This is cool. I find it more cool than what lads out there are doing. Believe me, Islam is not rigid and strict. It is relaxed. The Prophet ﷺ People have portrayed the Prophet ﷺ as someone who was always strict. No. There was someone who used to smile. Nobody smiled more than the Prophet ﷺ. When they used to smile, their premolars used to show. There was one companion, and I finish on this story. There was one companion, because Salatul Maghrib is close. There was one companion. He used to always buy gifts for the Prophet ﷺ. He used to go to the shopkeeper, buy the gift. But he said, I won't pay now, I'll pay you later. So like we go to Ahmed Foods or Sea Fresh and we have tabs, business tabs. You buy and then in credit later you'll give it back to them, you're in debt, etc. So he used to do this. He used to go, he used to buy, come. One day the shopkeeper said, this guy has bought too much, he owes me now. So he took the gift and he ran. He ran until he came to the Prophet ﷺ's masjid. He came inside, Nabi alayhi salam was sat and all the Sahaba was sat. He came running inside and he fell into their blessed feet. And he said, Ya Rasulullah, I've bought you a gift. And he gave the gift. The Prophet ﷺ looked at him. As he was giving the gift, the shopkeeper was behind him. My money, where's my money? You haven't paid me. He looked at the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, I got you the gift, but you pay for it now. All those gifts, every single one of them. Do you know what the Prophet ﷺ did? They smiled and laughed as you did. Not as you now, but they smiled. And they said to the Sahaba, go pay his debt off. You know what this man, and eventually what happened to him? He had a bad habit of drinking alcohol. This very same Sahabi who was known as the Mazah of the Prophet ﷺ, he was the jester of Rasulullah ﷺ, he drank. He got caught drinking and he was lashed 80 times because of that. Everyone inside the city of Medina started to curse him. And the Prophet ﷺ stood up and they said, do not curse him, for he loves Allah and His Rasul. Because someone's done wrong, we should not condemn them to the hellfire. We should give them opportunity to change and reform and become better people. My mission and vision is this, that we collectively as a community come together with the police, with the councillors, with the government, with the prominent influential people in our city here, Bradford, and we make Bradford a better place. For too long, we have brushed many issues under the carpet. Mental health, disability, antisocial behavior, drugs, alcohol, gambling. All of these issues that our youth are facing, we should be in a position where they turn to us and say, help me, I need your help. It's not embarrassing to say, I need your help. Turn to the people of Allah. You are turning to Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. Allah will, you go walking to Allah, Allah will come running to you, metaphorically speaking. Do not lose hope in Allah's mercy. Have hope. You can be a better person. Your mother did not give you birth as a gangster. You didn't come into this world as a thug. You was that sad little boy or happy little boy that was there. And you grew up. And then because of what was around you, you became this, in your own world, some big timer. But in reality, you're just a very minute person among 7 billion. And you should become bigger than that by being better and good. Contribute to your society. Don't destroy your society. And this is why it's very important for us as Muslims to understand what I have said. And may Allah Jalla Jalaluhu allow us to go towards His path. And may we change. May we become better for the greater good of us, our families, our society, our community, and may we become positive examples and role models.